Chicago fans arguably spoiled by the team's success in the 90s, but reality hitting mucho hard when you consider the Bulls without Mike, Pippen, and Coach Jackson. And one of the men facing the monumental rebuilding job, Jerry Reinsdorf. Back to David for more.
Mark, you know, a couple of years ago, Phil Jackson asked to be paid along the lines of what Pat Riley was getting in Miami and John Calipari's new contract in New Jersey. And Jerry Reinsdorf's response was, those guys handle personnel, you're just a coach. It's that type of answer that has made what is one of the most successful relationships in NBA history reach the breaking point. There is a question as big as the Sears Tower hanging over the city of Chicago. Why? Why are the Bulls, the NBA's best dynasty since the Celtics, seemingly on the verge of being dismantled? When their health, chemistry, coaching, and experience look as dominant as ever. Do you have any idea in your mind as to why this is happening?
No, not at all.
I must tell you that it wouldn't be my first choice as commissioner.
What a strange thing to be talking about. We should be rejoicing over our ability to see this amazing team time and again wow us with their feats. But instead, we're talking about all these peculiar management gyrations.
Why has Bulls management, in particular Chairman Jerry Reinsdorf, allowed speculation to build that it is not only ready, but eager to get Phil Jackson out of town, knowing that Michael Jordan's one stipulation for returning to Chicago next season is that Jackson is his coach?
He wanted to come back for one more year, and we wanted him back for one more year, and then by mutual agreement, this is going to be the last year.
Well, even before training camp started and opened, you know, we reiterated the fact. Jerry Krause called me in his office, reiterated the fact, remember, this is the last year. And, you know, let's not hold this door open all the time so the media can speculate, the fans can speculate.
Krause's influence and authority are not in question. His relationship with Jackson is, at best, strained. But Reinsdorf is the ultimate boss, a smart boss, one who appreciates a good return from an investment, such as he's received from Jackson over the last 9 years. So the question hangs in the air. Why? Is the Reinsdorf-Jackson relationship damaged in some way?
It would be honest for me to say that they have had a cordial, fairly efficient relationship. If Jerry needs to talk to Phil, Phil is always accessible, and vice versa. If Phil says, I need to talk to you, Reinsdorf will be available.
Theories on why Bulls management seems eager to rebuild the team abound. The team isn't interested in spending $80 million next year just to retain Jordan, Pippen, and Dennis Rodman. Or the team's stockholders aren't happy with the return on their investment. Or Reinsdorf is, as he says he is, genuinely concerned about the team's future and uncertain how he'll fill his 23,000-seat arena in years to come. Whatever the actual reason, personal animosity between Reinsdorf and Jackson does not appear to be a key issue.
The like or the dislike is kind of beside the point because of the enormous success, in spite of numerous moments where management, Reinsdorf/Krause, could have operated much differently.
I think what Jerry likes to do more than anything else is give people positions in an organization where they can exercise their authority, and then he lets them do what they do best. So that if Jerry Krause is in charge of basketball management or the end of it, that's his job to take care of that end of it.
Reinsdorf declined repeated requests from ESPN to discuss his team. But after saying during most of the season that he would wait until after the playoffs to make up his mind, Reinsdorf told the Chicago Tribune last week that he would be, quote, inclined to bring everybody back next year, including Jackson and Jordan, if the Bulls win the championship. His players, however, have been operating under a different assumption.
It's pretty much the last dance, you know. It's been a great run for us and for a lot of guys to myself, Phil, and Michael, who's been here a numerous amount of years. We hate to see our relationship departure like this.
Management has said that Jackson's turned down long-term extension offers, including 5-year contracts, because Jackson allegedly told Reinsdorf he didn't want to be involved in a rebuilding process. Jackson's representative denies this, saying that his own 2-year, $5.5 million proposal made in the summer of 1996 was the longest that either side has made.
They thought it over, went out into the hall, came back and said, 2 years a little too high, that's a little rich, but we can do it for 1 year. They never said 2 years ago, let's do a 3 or 4 or 5-year deal. And the longest we were willing to do was 2. And last year, there was no discussion of anything beyond 1 more season by either side.
Why the owner has a relationship with the coach that he wouldn't even consider bringing him back?
That baffles me.
Jordan is keeping his options open about his future after recently meeting with Reinsdorf. But he hasn't changed his basic criterion for returning. Jackson must be there.
Everybody's speculating, but no one knows. Until someone knows, you can't really make a profound decision, that you're going to have to stick with. And I think that's all going to be done once the season's over with.
That is rapidly approaching, possibly to be followed by an interminable hot summer of waiting in the Windy City. If Reinsdorf is serious about wanting everyone back in the wake of a title, he has some serious fence mending to do.
When you're doing a deal for Phil, and Krause and Reinsdorf are in the room, you really have to check the record book to make sure you're talking about the same guy, with the kind of attitude they come in with. I will always fault them for that. I will always be bitter about that. I'll always resent it. But the good news is, I won't have to do it again.
Obviously, Phil Jackson is going to be a guy who will be in demand again this summer. He's the top choice of the Denver Nuggets for that job. If they don't get him, then Dan Issel will probably take that job. But Seattle and the Lakers may be looking at Phil Jackson also, Mark, as a replacement.